Hey, it's Tara Green here talking about what I'm calling the Gemini Retrograde New Moon, May 30th, 2022 at 4:30 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, 11:30 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time. Oops, something's popping up there. Okay, so of course, the reason I'm calling it the retrograde moon, which isn't really possible because the moon never moves retrograde, but it's because the ruler of Gemini, Mercury, is retrograde, and it will be retrograde until later this week. So as Mercury slows down to station direct on June the 3rd at precisely 4 a.m., again, that's just Eastern Daylight Time, things kind of come to a conclusion, or you must have been finding too a lot of difficulty in Gemini retrograde. That move from Gemini back to Taurus, where it gets really even more practical and stubborn to fix things, is where we're at right now. So the sun and the moon there, you can see that this chart is set to Washington, D.C. So this is an actual ascendant, descendant. I do not work with whole houses. I like to have those exact cusps because then you can read symbols for them. So the sun and the moon are in the 12th house. So there's something fishy going on behind the scenes in communications, messages. You know, keep your psychic antennas up. You know, sun, moon in the 12th house is very psychic in any sign, not necessarily all bad. Just that things are being hidden. Information is being hidden. I would pay attention to that. And then, you know, as Mercury begins to move direct again and bypasses its station, then, you know, that information will fully come out. So there's Mercury, ruler of this moon, at 26 degrees of Taurus, conjunct Algol, exactly. So Algol, you can see that there, Algol, traditionally the most feared star, the most demonic star in the sky, named after the Gorgon Medusa, who in Greek myths, latter patriarchal Greek myths, I might add, Perseus slew as a symbol of the patriarchy destroying the matriarchy in the Amazon tribes, which were real. There were real Amazons recorded in Africa up until the 20th century, and there still are matriarchal. Matriarchy just means equal relationships, balance. This is not the opposite of the patriarchy, but Medusa got a terribly bad rap. She was originally an African Amazon who had dreadlocks, which they translated as snakes, and she was so powerful, the men were just scared shitless of her. And so, of course, any woman that's totally demonized like Lilith or Medusa or Medea, or Jezebel, they are all the ones with the most power. And so the patriarch is terrified of them and wants to get rid of them. All right, so Algol. So yeah, I would bring back Medusa's righteous anger, the fact that she could turn men to stone by looking at them. It's like that look, just giving that look, you know what I mean? You just stop people in your tracks, right? Especially in Taurus, it's a very stubborn place, of course. Now, the North Node is also conjunct to Mercury and Algol there at 22 degrees, the magic 22 number at the moment. So this is our highest spiritual goal, 22 degrees of Taurus, conjunct Uranus, the planet of radical freedom and breaking free of old structures, old Saturn structures, liberation, group work, group-mindedness, getting rid of hierarchies, rules the internet, rules cryptocurrency, rules revolutions, rules people are very unique. Uranus is considered to rule LGBTQ things these days. And so, yeah, so trying to break free of those old restrictions, whatever those are. Athena there is at 13 degrees of Taurus, and Venus is at 2. Venus is now in her ruling sign since Saturday, and she'll be there until mid-June. So Venus in her own home is very popular and very happy, and it'll bring back all that sensuality and romance and, you know, physical beauty and joy. And yes, it's all about resources, and resources are extremely expensive right now. So Venus in Taurus indicates that prices will be high while Venus continues to move through Taurus because she has very expensive taste. Remember, in Greek myths, the only one she married was a jeweler, Vulcan, who could make her the most beautiful, fabulous jewelry. Now she is going to be in Taurus until June 22nd, a day after the summer solstice. Okay, so things might break there as Venus enters Gemini. Now, moving backwards here, as you can see, Chiron at 15 degrees of Aries. Planets on the 15th degree. Wait a minute. Ooh, planets on the 15th degree. I thought we weren't moving forward there for a second. Sorry. Okay. Planets on the 15th degree of any sign are the most powerful. So if you think of a sign as beginning at 0 degrees and moving up with its power like a wave. So the peak of the wave is at the 15th degree, and then the wave ebbs down again to 30 degrees. Although 29, 30 degrees of a sign is another very powerful degree. It's called an anorectic or critical degree because a planet has gone through every degree of the sign. Now, Mars, of course, is also in Aries and Jupiter, and so, yeah, just like the song, The Dawning of the Age of Aquarius, now this might be another sign, when Jupiter aligns with Mars, then peace will guide the planet and love will steer the stars, so let's hope that happens. But really, Mars conjunct Jupiter is very angry, very impulsive, very dangerous, very fiery, likes competition. People are going to be driving fast. Of course, gun laws. Mars is guns. Jupiter is laws. Very literally there. People are angry about that. It's a good time to begin anything new. You know, they just met yesterday, Jupiter and Mars. Traditionally, they're not a good combination because Mars is aggression and testosterone and the warrior, and Jupiter magnifies that. So, you know, be careful that more wars don't escalate or start right now. Don't start wars with your neighbors. Again, there's been lots of shootings every day in the U.S. because of this, I'm sorry to say. And may all those innocent people rest in peace. But, you know, the protests are just going to get louder around that. Neptune at 25 degrees Pisces, up in the 10th house there in this chart. So messages are a little foggy, or people are feeling a little bit exhausted still, even though Mars and Jupiter are now in Aries. You know, Neptune's going to continue to be working in Pisces for the next 2 or 3 years, and it trines the South Node. So this is a good time to release a lot of old emotions that we've been holding in, or projections that now are beginning to feel like it's good that we're getting more grounded now after all that Pisces in April. Going, whoa, wait a minute, that wasn't what I thought it was, or I projected it was, or anything. That person is not who I think. So getting rid of love addictions, being very practical. I think women are going to want to be gifting themselves what they think they deserve. Also, Venus and Taurus is good for self-worth, for going after new jobs, and, you know, just having a sense of what you'll take and what you won't. Juno. I love her little symbol there. It looks like a little magic wand there. We have Juno Awards in Canada for musicians. That's very nice. She is, well, the month of June, which is right around the corner here, is named in her honor. So she is Jupiter's wife or counterpart, partner. In the Roman, in Latin, it's a bit more obvious. Jupiter, anything that starts with Ju, again, is Jupiterian. Jupiter and Jove, he's called, and she is Juno. So Jupiter would represent masculine genius. Juno represents the feminine form of genius, which is very much like the symbol, kind of like a big star, kind of like a multitasking. Men's genius is very literal, linear, logical. So there's Juno right there with many different ideas and many different projections and many different illusions and many different threads going on at the same time. So it could be easy to be very confused about WTF. WTF is going on, and Juno is squaring the sun and the moon. So again, tangled messages. Again, Mercury is retrograde at this sun and moon, so we're not really going to understand what the message is until we pull out of this retrograde motion, I believe. So it's a bit of a delayed, or a boomerang almost. So use your multitasking ability to see in all directions. With Juno there, she works in your imagination. She's right at the top of the chart. So if you want to get ahead with your career in general based on this chart, you know, widening the net, throwing it out in all the directions. There's many fish in the sea. Vesta, the root word of investment, she is at 1 degree of Pisces. So again, this dissolves your hopes, your wishes, your dreams about crypto, about making lots of money fast. You know, who do you trust? It was too good to be true kind of energy. So a lot of people could be losing money in the market, in the crypto market. My father actually worked as a movie projectionist before I was born, and then went into the stock market. He always said I sold dreams, but you know, movies are they're also dreams. So really, he did that his whole life, and I always thought that was a very powerful symbol. Saturn also about to go retrograde on the weekend. Saturn is going to go retrograde on June the 4th, so just a day after Mercury goes direct, Saturn turns retrograde, which it does every 4 to 5 months a year. So at 25 degrees Aquarius, we want to look at that pivotal point. It is squaring Mercury. So there's going to be some very important ideas or things in the airwaves, or the sense of breathing fresh air or trying to breathe some fresh air. Aquarius is an air sign. It's something about being stopped by this stalwart, obstinate, conservative. That's Saturn. You know what I mean? Saturn is always like that. Oops, sorry. My phone's saying that it's going to go off here, and I hope it doesn't. There we go. All right, Pluto at 28 degrees of Capricorn retrograde there, also at the very kind of last degree of Capricorn, is also trining Mercury. So there's a lot of power there, power to our words, power to our thoughts, power to going back and reviewing things and going over and releasing and thinking about where our power is, and power in our words and our voices. Taurus rules the throat chakra, very literally. South Node at 22 degrees of Scorpio, of course, is also squaring Saturn. So this is a very kind of karmic energy. Again, our thoughts, our deeds, what we say and what we do needs to be more in alignment, because Saturn, the cosmic cop, may bring that up. That may come back to you. It may be in your face somehow. Okay. Ceres and Lilith are in a conjunction there in Cancer. So Lilith is associated with abortions, and Ceres is associated with mothering. So very much in Cancer, Lilith is, very much like she's the death-bringing goddess and associated with abortions in modern astrology. And so there's that debate there. It's a woman's right to choose whether she wants to have a family or not. So there that is. I think that's a really good symbol there. And so Ceres and Lilith together there, that is the mother's right, whether she wants to have children or not. Very powerful there. And they are squaring Mars and Jupiter. So again, women are very angry about that issue as well as guns. And, there's all those memes about, right to life and you only care about right to life at conception, but you don't care about anybody once they are born. Psyche is down there at 8 degrees of Virgo, opposite Juno. So again, your psychic energy can be very connected to your guts. Listen to your gut instincts. Psyche and Juno square the sun and the moon. It's not shown there, but you can, Pisces, Gemini, Virgo, all the mutables square each other. So again, listening to your psychic instincts, your gut instincts, is really powerful. And really listen to your intuition as well. Juno expands your intuition. I still feel like, especially with the sun and the moon, the 12th house here, not time to really move forward, even though, yes, the big Jupiter-Mars conjunction does mean new beginnings. I still think there's going to be another trigger until we can really move forward with that. So usually I do a new moon ceremony. I'm frankly totally burnt out and exhausted. So I felt like I needed to do this, but I will at least be live on the 31st, doing my monthly tarot astrology preview for the Cosmic Intelligence Agency back on Facebook. I think they're abandoning the StreamYard thing, so back on Facebook. That would probably be at 8 p.m. my usual time, Eastern Daylight Time on